Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to do this cozy fall Gilmore Girls themed press-on nail set. Today's video will be a little bit different. You'll watch me make this press-on nail set, but I'll also be talking about what I think is a very important topic, which is mindset for nail artists, content creators, and business owners, so I hope you enjoy. Before we get started, just a quick reminder that the products I'm using are from my brand. We have gel polishes, polygels, art gels, and brushes. The link is in the description, and you can use code YouTube to save 10% at checkout. This is our newest collection, a Whimsy Halloween, which is available for purchase now, and our winter launch will be available on 11/11, so stay tuned for that. So as I mentioned, we are doing a cozy fall set today, so you'll watch me make the full set, but we are going to be talking about a little bit of a different topic, so you'll probably hear me go back and forth between explaining the nails and then talking about this topic, which is mindset. So right now I'm just making some 3D pumpkins with some 3D gel, and I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to carve those out and then use our October Breeze gel polish. I'll show all of the gel polishes I'm using throughout the video as well. So the reason I want to talk about this topic, and obviously I don't think this video is going to be for everybody, but I hope it will reach the people that it will be beneficial to, because it's something that's personally helped me a lot. I've talked about the technical side of doing nails a ton, and I will obviously continue to do so. Those videos are not going anywhere, but I want to start weaving this topic into my videos a little bit more. So as I mentioned, I have definitely been through this personally, having done this for a few years now, where you end up in a stage where you are very burnt out. So I think we see a lot about like how to basically hustle your way to the top, how to post multiple times a day, 3 to 6 times a day, how to increase your output when it comes to art, how to like scale your business, all of these things. But at the end of the day, what I've definitely learned after doing this for a few years now, having been like in the burnout stage and all of those things, is that none of that really means anything without like a good mindset. And when I say mindset, I don't mean like being super positive, like sunshine and rainbows all the time. I'm really talking about like your self-beliefs and like kind of the identity that you're bringing behind your work, if that makes sense. And I'll try to explain it the best I can. And when I say this video isn't for everyone, what I really mean is like we're all in different stages of our journey as artists. You know, some people are just doing it for fun or as a hobby. Some people are very serious about it and want to make this their career. Some people want to be able to quit their job and be able to do something like this full time. It might be very dependent on where you are in your nail journey and like what you're trying to achieve. So in an effort to try to make this video a little bit more structured, like I am kind of just speaking about whatever comes to mind. I tried to make a little bit of like a few topics I wanted to cover. Just like right off the bat, the goalpost is always going to continue to move, and that's something that I've experienced where there might be a certain goal you're trying to reach, whether it's followers, likes, sales. You reach that goal, you should hopefully feel happy and good about it, but then very quickly you're already looking at like the next number, the next goal, whatever it may be. And it kind of just becomes like this endless hamster wheel. I think we get very tunnel vision on like, oh, once I reach 10,000 followers, 20,000 or 10,000 YouTube subscribers, once I get into the TikTok Creator Rewards program, once I make a certain amount of sales in my business, once you achieve that, you know, you're already looking at the next thing. And so I know for me that contributed to a lot of burnout and just anxiety, kind of feeling on edge, because pretty much everything was focused on achieving a lot of these numerical goals. And just quickly going back to this nail set, I am doing a book stack design. This is a Gilmore Girls themed nail set, which is very cozy fall coated. So I definitely had to add in a book stack. So I'm just sketching that out, and then you'll see me kind of paint all of the different books and shade them. So basically back to the idea of the goalpost will always continue to move. So it's really important to not try to tie too much of your external validation or happiness to that, or feel really dependent on it. And I'll try to talk a little bit more about that and some things that have helped me. But the second thing I want to talk about before we get too far into this video that I think contributed to a lot of my own, just again, feeling burnt out, and even at one point feeling like everything I was doing was not working, is that I started to absorb pretty much every limiting belief that you can think of that we see in the nail industry. And what I mean by that is, especially if you're on the social media side of things or you're a content creator, when you first come in, you're kind of like a sponge. You know, you're getting to know like what the nail industry is all about, especially in the social media space. and you quickly start to take on, unfortunately, a lot of limiting beliefs. And what I mean by that is like just some that come to mind. Like, number one, the nail industry is oversaturated. There's not space for everyone. Everyone's doing content creation. Everyone is trying to become a nail artist or nail tech. Another big one I've seen is that people can be not very supportive or toxic in the industry. Whatever it may be, you can probably already think of a few that come to your own mind, but the point being that these are just collective beliefs, and I know that in the beginning it can really feel like that's really just how it is. That's how the experience is in this industry, and that's just how it's going to be. There's nothing you can do to change it. So I don't want to invalidate anyone's experience, and I really think this just kind of comes with time and experience, which when you realize like you don't have to take on those beliefs, that doesn't have to be your experience. The oversaturation belief is a good one to expand on, because I'm sure some of you have probably heard the water analogy, which is you walk into the grocery store, into the water aisle, and you're not just going to see one water brand, right? You're going to see like so many different ones, right? And it's kind of the same thing with any industry. There's so many brands to choose from. There's always going to be new brands, new artists, whatever it may be coming out, and there's plenty of money and success to go around for everyone, especially in this day and age. Like, we're not even marketing to like our own local city or anything. Like, most of us are running an online business, and that is literally being marketed worldwide, especially if you're a content creator, right? Your content is reaching literally all around the world. I know me personally, I've shipped products all around the world. I guess it might be considered a little bit different if you are, a nail tech and you're in a certain city or space. But even then, like, there's really no such thing as oversaturation. It's only if you start to take on that belief and, you're really like internalizing that, then you may see things kind of reflected back to you that are in line with that. But all that to say, like, you don't have to take on those beliefs. You can literally tell yourself, no, actually, the nail industry is not oversaturated. There's plenty of money and success and room for everyone to grow and do whatever they want to do. So now that this book stack nail is done, this is probably a good segue into the next kind of mindset topic, which is going to be more about self and like self-concept and things like that. And the next nail is a 3D coffee mug. You can't have a Gilmore Girls set without coffee. So this was actually pretty easy to sculpt. I was kind of surprised just with like the 3D gel and the tool. I guess this section is pretty much, for lack of a better word, like, who are you being, your identity. And, this is not meant to be like, in a psychology sense or religious or spiritual. Sure, maybe a lot of this could be tied back to that, but I'm just trying to make this like kind of surface level and applicable to what we're talking about, as far as like being an artist, content creator, business owner. So this probably is like the most important to me out of all the topics we're talking about, because sure, there's limiting beliefs out there or certain collective beliefs. There's, just like the nail industry out there as a whole, however you perceive it, social media, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it really comes back to self. Like, let's say two people take the same action, right? Person A posts a video and it gets 200 views, 30 likes, 20 likes, whatever it may be. Person B does the same thing, 200 views, 30 likes, whatever it may be. And the thing is, I guess to back up even more, like, at the end of the day, like, think of how many thoughts run through your head all day. Like, that's just part of being like a human being. You're constantly thinking, things are going on in your head when you go to post a video, when you're taking certain actions. As a nail artist or content creator, like, you're already, without even realizing it, there's certain things going through your head. So let's say person A has posted that video, right? 200 views, 20 likes, and they have very limiting, or what I would say, unfortunately, negative self-beliefs, which is, oh my gosh, I'm stuck in 200 view jail. There's no point in me posting these videos. I never get recognized for my work, and I'm not going to make any sales off of this. Nobody's even going to like see my business from this. What's the point? Whatever it may be. And again, I'm talking about myself when I'm talking about these examples. Okay, let's just say I was person B, right? When I first started. Person B posts the same video. You could say, you know, again, I'm not calling anybody out. We can use me as an example. You could say me maybe posting a video now. Let's say it gets 200 views, 20 likes, right? Now this person's thinking is totally different behind the same action, right? They're still thinking, well, my video is always reaching the right people. People always find my business. People, whoever sees my content, they enjoy it. They engage with it. You know, I'm still continuing to build my community. And most importantly, no matter what happens, no matter what I see externally, I know I'm a good artist. I know my business will be successful, whatever it may be, so on and so forth. So again, two people take the same action, but the thinking behind it is totally different. And this is like where it clicked for me personally, that it literally doesn't matter if I post 3 times a day, 6 times a day, 10 times a day, 3 times a month. If I'm, you know, putting out new products every month, every 6 months, it doesn't matter, because it's all about who you're being behind that. So if you can kind of start retraining your inner dialogue, your inner thoughts to be more in line with what you want to achieve, and just think of like the ideal person that you want to be, you know, behind your business, whatever it may be. If you can start training your brain to do that, I guarantee you will start seeing very different results in, you know, like the external numbers, whatever you want to call it. So for me personally, there was like a 3 to 4 month gap before I started my brand, like the first product launch. The brand had already been in works for like a long time, but there was going to be like a 3 to 4 month gap before like the first launch and the products arriving and everything being set up. And I was still like creating content and doing all of those things at that time, still doing nails. But I actually took that time, instead of like just creating even more content, like really focusing on the output, or like the tangible actions that, you know, we normally take. I actually took that time to like really learn about like limiting beliefs and kind of like my self-concept, and really analyze like my identity before going into starting this business. You know, did I actually think that it would be successful? Did I actually think I was worthy of making money off of this thing? You know, did I believe I could actually really do this? And that was definitely the best thing that I could have done, because it wasn't about, like I said, learning to make more content or figuring out how to hack the algorithm, or figuring out how like what the next best social media marketing technique is, whatever it may be, or what the next trendy product is. It was really about actually leaning authentically into what I wanted to do as a creative, what I wanted to create, and having like a very solid, like I said, unwavering conviction and faith that the business was going to work, and that I didn't need to stress or, you know, burn out or do any of those things to achieve that. So that's kind of my take on self. I can add a little bit more to it, but just going back to the nail set very quick, I am just creating Rory's Chilton uniform, more of like a sweater vest. So I'm just using our Midnight VHS gel polish, a lot of different blues just to kind of layer it out. And you'll see throughout this video, my technique is pretty much sketching everything out and then color blocking and then adding shading. So all that to say, it's definitely a good idea to kind of shadow yourself, I guess you could say. And, you know, a lot of these things you may not even realize like consciously, like what you kind of have internalized and believe. But if you can like figure that out and kind of flip it into your favor, you know, you're going to start perceiving things differently. Like different opportunities are going to come up, and like things will kind of shift around you. Because as I said, I personally believe like that's kind of the foundation, and what you're going to experience around you is going to reflect that, versus the other way around, where we're kind of reacting to the external and then letting that dictate like our internal state, our beliefs, and things like that. I really don't mean for this to be like too much of like a woo-woo spiritual video. I can definitely get into that stuff. This is stuff that like I think about all the time, like just in general, and have learned a lot about. But I do want to make this like kind of a surface level accessible video and kind of, like I said, tailored to the topic of nail art and, you know, career, business and all of that. So next up is the gazebo from Gilmore Girls, and I was just showing like how I kind of used a basic sticker to create the outline, and I can't believe I actually drew this. Like at first I was like, oh, it'd be cool to draw the gazebo, and then I just sketched it out and I color blocked it, and it actually turned out really nice. So if you need a good reference, try to use like simple sticker images. I'm going to be talking about that more in my next video, how I design my nail sets and how I kind of create my references and things like that. But as we kind of get towards the end of the video, there's about like 10 minutes left in this, but the next kind of mindset topic that I want to talk about kind of goes off the previous one as far as like identity goes. And it's kind of, I guess, tying everything all together is, number one, really be mindful to like not place others on a pedestal above yourself, and be a content creator, not a content consumer. And all that to say, like, really like focus on yourself and your art and bring it back to the basics of like what you enjoy. I guess first and foremost, putting others on a pedestal. There is nothing wrong with having people you look up to, people that you look to for guidance, things like that. Especially as a beginner, that can be really helpful. But where it becomes very harmful, and again, I'm speaking from my personal experience, is where you start losing your own creative voice, your own creativity, your own kind of self-confidence, empowerment, whatever you want to call it, in yourself. You kind of start losing sight of that. And the whole point of this video, I know I'm kind of talking about a lot of different topics and kind of maybe all over the place, but my whole message to you is to really like place that self-confidence, self-belief in yourself as an artist, a business owner, a creator, an entrepreneur, whatever it may be, that you might be placing in others. Like I said, you should definitely support other creators. You should make friends of this community. You should definitely like interact with others. Like there's so many amazing, talented artists out there that I have personally met and become friends with, like literally all over the United States and even the world. But my point being, like, don't lose sight of self in the midst of all that. Like your art, your creativity, whatever you're doing should always be like at the core of everything. And, we've already been so conditioned to put like self-doubt, question our worth as artists, things like that. Are we good enough? We've already been so conditioned to do that doing the complete opposite is not a bad thing. And it can be very difficult in the beginning because you're kind of might be at a point where you're like, well, how do I even start doing that? Like, where do I even start? Honestly, just like I said, just shadow yourself, like really like kind of take a look at what kind of energy or inner dialogue you're bringing to like your art, your business, things like that. Just kind of see where those are actually at and, start telling yourself things like in your favor. And even if you don't believe it at first, just keep telling yourself over and over and over again. And it'll automatically, like at some point, rewire your brain, kind of rewire your inner dialogue to be more in line, to think like more in line with the identity and in a positive way that's actually beneficial for you as a creative versus like against you. And then the second point of, be a content creator, not a content consumer. There's nothing wrong with consuming content. Like I said, you should support other people. You should enjoy other people's art. But what I am saying is that it's very easy to get lost in the doom scrolling, the drama, comparing yourself to people, and just, taking on and overloading yourself with so much different content from all different angles. Yes, that time could be spent creating art, but the point of this video is not productivity or things like that. I'm just saying, like, be wary of the things that you consume, and also know, like, you don't have to do that. I personally have installed apps on my phone recently that limit how much I can go on social media, and I was nervous to do that at first because obviously I'm running a business online and I'm a content creator. However, I realized it still allows me to go on there to post and check in on my business as much as I need to and consume just enough content to keep up with like what, you know, my mutuals are doing and what, you know, artists that I enjoy following, things like that. So the app is called Screen Zen if you're interested. This is not like an app that reached out to me, by the way, or anything. This is just an app I found on my own. It makes you wait like however amount of time that you want before you can actually open the app. It limits how many times you can open it, the amount of time. You can override it if you need to. I know there's been times I've needed to override it. But it helps because sometimes we're just opening these apps just to open them. And it also really helps detach from like over monitoring like likes and just like, you know, sometimes we're just on social media just to be on there. And like I said, the focus and the core of it should be like your art and like what you're doing outside of that, what you're actually creating outside of social media before you share it. And that's kind of, I guess, like the final point, which is detachment and deciding who you are before the world agrees with you or shows you any validation for it. That's why I titled this video, like, don't wait for the world to decide that you are a good artist. Like, you need to decide that for yourself first. Like I said, I believe the world is going to see you the way you see yourself. So if you can, like, with full conviction and faith, like, decide, like, I am a really great artist, I am worthy of, you know, pursuing this path, I'm worthy of being successful on it, and I'm worthy of having, like, an easy, peaceful, enjoyable time doing it, then I truly believe you will experience that. And even if things come up that aren't in line with that, you'll know how to honestly just kind of not give it any attention. And really, you should be having fun with this. Like, this is art at the end of the day. Like, I think it's so fun to create content, and I think it always blows my mind, like, how we can reach so many people around the world. Like, I'll talk to, like, my dad, who ran, like, a brick and mortar business when I was a little kid, and even my grandfather, who ran, like, a brick and mortar business. And they're always so mind blown that, like, we can just, like, post videos and reach customers and reach new clients and things like that, like, all around the world. Like, that wasn't a thing back then. And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, and it's really a privilege to be able to do that and to share our art worldwide and to be able to create a business or a source of income that's, like, purely online and just, like, through creating art and having fun. This is why I've always said, like, the beginner phase is actually really, really nice, because sure, like I said, you could unfortunately take on a lot of limiting beliefs, but at the same time, like, you're really getting into it for the fun of it, and you have, like, this passion for it and curiosity for it that a lot of people lose along the way. And I know I've leaned into that a lot more, you know, just, like, literally turning my phone off or whatever I can turn off while still using the camera and just, like, creating art. And it has done wonders for my art, for my business, and everything else. And as I wrap up this nail set with this stars hollow sign, which was very, very difficult to do with the lettering, but I did my best and I really love how it turned out. The final point is also to not get so consumed in the identity of being an artist, a business owner, that it's, like, all you are, if that makes sense. I know I am talking a lot about, you know, being the person who has it before you maybe see the success, but it also shouldn't become so all-consuming that it's, like, your entire life and you're not enjoying other areas of your life. It is definitely important to, like, find a balance, take time away from social media, and honestly have days where you're not creating art and content and doing other things, because personally for me, that's when I find the most inspiration for, like, new collections and things like that. So all that to say, you should definitely try to strive to find that self-empowerment, self-confidence within yourself as an artist, an entrepreneur, and really, like, decide with conviction and faith, like, how it's going to go for you. And know that whatever obstacles come up, you'll be able to handle it. Or honestly, like I said, not even give it any attention, and know that whatever you've decided for yourself, who you are, what you will achieve, will happen no matter what. Tune out the external world. Get off of social media unless you are getting on there to post, honestly. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. I've implemented that myself, where sometimes I'm just getting on there to post and go. Like I said, I do try to check in periodically, and I'm still on there quite a bit, but it's drastically reduced and it's been super beneficial. I had to pick a social media of choice. Now it's honestly YouTube. I think there's a lot less to kind of get lost in there. TikTok and Instagram can be a little bit different, but like I said, you have to decide like what's kind of best for you. And like I said, this has nothing to do with anything technical, like how good your content is, you know, how much you practice, how good your art is, if you're at a certain level, because all of that is super subjective. And like I said, once you kind of start identifying with, you know, kind of the mindset and whatever it may be that you want to achieve, those actions will come to you naturally. Like you will probably feel more inspired to create than you have before, and you won't even feel burnout. That's kind of where I'm at now, where I feel like I'm creating more and I'm creating the best art I ever have, and I don't feel like stressed or burnt out about it at all because the mindset and identity behind it has shifted so much. So all that to say, those things will come naturally and you will like feel inspired to create and do certain things that you may have never even thought of before. And if it wasn't already super crystal clear, you can achieve whatever you want in this industry, whether you want to be a fully booked out nail tech with lots of different clients, whether you want to be a press-on nail artist, whether you want to be a content creator, work with brands, start your own product line. You can achieve all of it and more, but it absolutely starts with you. So I think I'll end the mindset talk there. I don't know why. I've just been very like, I need to talk about this in a video. I need to like share some of this because I feel like no one really talks about it, at least from this angle, and it's helped me a lot, so I hope it will help you. I hope to talk about it more. Like I said, this is a topic that I think about a lot, I've learned a lot about, am still learning about, so I would love to talk about it more. If there's like specific things that would be helpful, or maybe I'll just continue to pick certain topics to talk about. But don't worry, the technical videos are not going anywhere. The next video is going to be a technical video on the Twilight Zone set and how I design my nail sets, and then the video after that will be a full polygel nail set. I appreciate you all so much for supporting me, and our next launch is on November 11th. It's going to be a special winter launch for our 1-year anniversary. I'm very excited to celebrate that with our team. I know Halloween isn't even here yet, but I wanted to do our winter launch right on our 1-year anniversary date, so you can look out for that and some new products in the next few weeks. I will also be doing a giveaway as part of the launch, but it's probably going to be over on Instagram because I am teaming up with one of our brand ambassadors to do it. So it'll be over there on our Instagram. You can find those links in my description if you want a chance to win our winter launch. And here's how the full Gilmore Girls set turned out. This is probably the most fall themed set I've ever done. I really love it. It feels very cozy. I love how I got to use a bunch of orange, green, and brown colors. Thank you again for watching. I will see you in my next video, and a Whimsy Halloween is available now. And I have been rewatching Gilmore Girls, so this was definitely inspired by that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this video helpful. A Whimsy Halloween is also available now, and I'll see you in my next video.